Anxiety. An old friend and we meet again. Well, I don't know if you call it a friend or not, but you definitely go way back, if you know what I mean. Anxiety's tough. I feel like every time I feel like I look at my life and think, oh, I'm getting ahead and I no longer feel anxious or anything else like that. Anxiety comes knocking on the door, and for lack of a better word, it leaves me feeling stumped. Get it? I don't know about you, but lately I've been feeling super anxious in my life. I've dealt with this ever since my earliest memories up until this point. But every now and then, I feel like I hit these pockets of life where the things start to surface. And then before you know it, I go from one thought to 100 thoughts in my head, which then causes a severe amount of anxiety to come over me. I've done things over the years to work on anxiety and things like that. But it's one of those things where I don't really know if it ever truly goes away fully. Not the way we would hope it would. Right now it's December, early December, and we're less than a month away from 2026. When I look back at 2025, I think there were some good moments that happened in this year, but overall, for me personally, this has been one of the most difficult years I've ever had to deal with in my entire life for a multitude of reasons: financial, relationship, health, and just goals and everything else in life. A lot of that feels up in the air, or at least it was to some extent early in the year for me too, in which I'm still dealing with some of the ramifications. I'm not unique in my story. I think a lot of people deal with feelings of anxiety, nervousness, or other things like this too in life. And while I'm not some mental health professional, I don't claim to be, I'm just trying to kind of talk about this today for two reasons. For one, I think it makes it easier to kind of put your thoughts and your ideas out there because it makes people feel like they're less alone dealing with things that might be a lot more common than they think. And for two, it's kind of therapeutic for me. It's helpful to come out here and just talk, take some calm time in the morning, be around this environment, and just kind of get away from some of the noise. I think a lot of times what happens is when some of us live in cities or very busy, highly populated areas, even if you like these types of scenarios, after a while, it can get to be a lot, especially in those moments where I feel like we feel super anxious. It does that to me. So I'm in Phoenix right now, and it's difficult, right? Because I moved here in 2020, I believe. So I've been here for about 5, going on 6 years now. And in that time, this place has completely just got so much more busy. Influx of people, the housing developments, new buildings, parking garages, and things. I mean, there were places that I lived near that used to be open fields and just kind of. I'm not saying it was big grass and lush and beautiful and stuff like that, but it was like rocks and mountainous kind of place and things like that. And now I feel like every time I leave, there's just another sign of another housing development or something else going up. I think that if I stay here for 5 more years, this place will be unrecognizable. The things in my life that make me feel super anxious come down to some of the things I talked to you about right earlier, where I said finances, health, relationship, other things like that too. But I think what makes it amplify even more, it's like you take all that stuff and it's in like this ball of stress that causes anxiety, and then you 2x it because of the business and the things around you. I think so many times it makes it hard because when we want to find calm environments to kind of just reset ourselves, to kind of just take a step back, to quell some of these feelings of anxiety, you maybe don't always have the ability to do that. For me living here, I do have the ability to get in my car and drive 20, 30 minutes somewhere else to at least be away from the crowds, the masses of people, and some of the things that make these feelings of anxiety even more difficult for me. Some people don't have a car. Some people don't live near things like this. Some people that may be watching this video may be living somewhere where it's snowing and you don't really want to go outside and it's not as advantageous for you to go out there and do that. Or maybe it's just something that won't really help your anxiety overall if you feel like you get yourself out there. I get that. I used to live in Missouri a long time ago, and like whenever the cold weather and like the gloominess and snow and all that stuff would come up, it felt like months of just being inside and just dwelling in my own thoughts and feelings and things like that that are in my head. I think a long time ago, what I thought was that when I first moved to California and before I moved to Arizona, I had the same thought there as I did here, where I thought, you know what, this place is beautiful. It's pretty much sunny every day. The weather's great. Like, I thought that the feelings of like anxiety and all these other things that were there before would have went away because I'm like, well, if I'm leaving Missouri, I'm leaving the cold, the slush, the snow, just the gloom and all that stuff, and I'm going somewhere bright, happy, people wearing flip flops and going outside every day and doing things, it'd be great. And there were some pros, there were some cons too. But what I think I didn't take into account was how much I value having the ability to get out to places like this and just kind of take a breath. For me, that's something super important. When I go back to my childhood, and if I kind of talk about that, I've mentioned this in a few different videos before, but my household was a little turbulent, I guess is a good way to put that. And so for me, this is before like all social media and all this stuff was around. So I couldn't just doom scroll or kind of essentially chase some form of escapism to help me get away from these things. My option was to get outside. I go get on my bike and go ride somewhere, or I go on a walk, I go find a little creek or something near where I live and just sit there. I'd sit there for 4, 6, 8 hours and just calm myself down. Now, in that situation, that was more of like a survival technique for me to help myself get through times that were extremely difficult for me. And when I fast forward to now, I use different strategies and I also have a different understanding of what anxiety is, how it affects me, and kind of how to quell some of those things in the moment. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't come up and it's not difficult for me in certain moments of my life, aka why I'm making this video and why these things happen right now. As much as I have more of an understanding about this, I think I've also gotten away from some of the fundamentals that actually make some of the anxiety go away or help it be manageable so you can continue with your everyday life, like being outside like this. A lot of my videos, when I first started making these, were indoors. I had a setup, a studio, and it was cool. I liked it. And I think I made a recent video even with that too. But something about getting outside like this, getting around other people, just environment, fresh air, changing your surroundings, you'd be amazed how much that can actually help with anxiety. And I'm not saying anything revolutionary here. I think I'm making this more or less as a reminder that if you are in a busy type of area, it could be a busy household, a busy city, a busy state, busy workplace, whatever it may be. And if you add more and more of these things on top, it just gets so much more hard to deal with. Rather than try to sit there and say you're going to snap your fingers and all of a sudden anxiety is going to go away forever and you're going to be good to go. I think sometimes a reminder that it's nice to just kind of get outside like this, look at some water, some things, people walking around, and just seeing some ducks, just doing some simple stuff like this with no real other point in mind can work wonders for you. I've been all up and down the spectrum of anxiety. It's not fun. It's not easy, but you're not alone. And whatever you're feeling right now, or maybe if you felt it before, is perfectly normal. I think a lot of times we always hear this phrase that life is hard, but very rarely do you hear people specifically elaborate on what they mean by that. What do you think? I was like, oh, well, life's hard. Yeah, you got to pay bills and go to work and do stuff like that. It's hard. I don't think that's what makes it hard. I think life's hard because we have these expectations, we have these thoughts, we have these goals, and all this stuff that we put in our head that we want to happen, but they don't always come to fruition. And I think so many times not the consequences, but the immediate aftermath of what our decisions are and things that lead us to these positions can make us just feel super, super anxious and make it really difficult for us. It's things that you don't see. It's the medical emergencies. It's the financial ruin. It's the lies, the omission. There's all kinds of things in life that can happen to make it hard. And so while I think it's hard for a lot of ways, like, yeah, I mean, work and bills and things like that, those are the kind of given ones. There's so many other things that make life hard too. It's okay to say, you know what, I'm having a hard time right now in my life. It's okay to sit there and say, this year was hard. This month was hard. I'm going through a tough time right now. It's okay to say that out loud and not feel shame for it. And I want to make sure that I just communicate that because I spent too much time in my life shaming myself, feeling something that otherwise feels fairly normal compared to most people. We all go through difficult times. We all have struggles and things that are not easy in our life. I get that. While I wish I could reach throughout this screen and grab anybody there that needs some help, give you some specific words of encouragement towards your situation, I don't have the ability to be in hundreds of places at once. So the next best thing I can do is try to put something out here that's a little bit encouraging for you that hopefully for a few minutes of your day got you to step outside whatever is actually being really difficult for you right now. So you can just take a moment to sit there and say, you know what, like maybe I need to get outside, just go walk, take a walk in the park today. Maybe I need to go take a weekend trip, go book a hotel room, go stay one night overnight in a city near me and just get away from everybody. Maybe I need to turn my phone off for a night and just kind of be in the quiet, write my thoughts down, not even turn the TV on. You decide that for you because you know yourself better than I do. The biggest thing I want to communicate is that it's all right if you're dealing with things kind of like I'm doing right now. If you're going through, pits of anxiety that are really difficult, if this is inhibiting you in your life, if this is stopping you from doing things you want to do, it's okay. These things come and they go. Understand that it probably will never go away forever for good, but you can certainly do things in your life that are healthy forms of escapism and things like this to get outside, get away from your environment, things to help yourself with more of a fighting chance. I believe in you. I know you can do it. And if anything else, keep your head up. It's going to be all right. Even if you don't always see the light at the end of the tunnel, trust that it's always there. So I hope this helped in some type of way. If it did, please go and drop me a like below. Consider subscribing for similar content in the future. I'll see y'all here in the next one. Take care for now. Peace.